Hello, this is Dr. Grafton, and in this video, we're going to be going over assignment 5.4, analysis of variance, or sometimes referred to as ANOVA. We're looking at comparing several populations across each other. Uh, we generally look at the population means. Up to this point, we've been looking at methods that look at two different population means. In an analysis of variance, we can look at a technique that is efficient when we're looking at several sample means to determine if they come from the same or equal population. In this particular case, we're going to be looking at four different population means. So upon completion of this assignment, you should be able to use the Excel ANOVA tool to conduct an analysis of variance test. And this is in our data analysis tool pack that we've been using for other assignments. Okay. The basics of the background for this particular assignment is there's an automobile manufacturer has sales representatives who make calls on dealers. And the manufacturer wants to compare the effectiveness of four different call frequency plans for the sales representatives. So 32 representatives are chosen at a random from a sales force, randomly assigned to the four call plans, 8 per plan. And the representatives then will follow their plans for 6 months, and the sales for the 6-month period are then recorded. And we'll see that data in the spreadsheet. The questions that you need to be able to answer from this, and you'll be able to do it after you've done your analysis, is does the sample data support the hypothesis that at least one of the call plans helps produce a higher average level of sales? Explain why or why not. And we'll perform a one-way ANOVA statistics test, and we'll use a p-value to determine whether we accept that or reject that hypothesis. And then the second part of that is if the sample does indicate the existing mean of sales differences across the plans, which plan produces significantly different averages at the 95% level and why. This could or could not indicate. So you need to be careful there, not just automatically think because we're asking that question that this is going to indicate that there is a difference. Okay, you'll know that once you come up with your p-value, and then after you are able to accept or reject the null hypothesis, saying that at least one of the call plans helps produce a higher average, then you'll be able to answer number 2 either in the affirmative or in the negative. Okay, all right, let's go ahead and look at the spreadsheet. So this is fairly simple. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and for demo purposes, add some columns here. You don't necessarily need to do this. I'm just trying to do this to give you an indication. So we know that there's at least 8 plans. Let's see, we got to highlight both of them here. There we go. Now it's going to give us 8. So we got 8 plans. We can do some descriptive statistics here. We can do the sum, the mean, and the variance. So here we just do equal sum, highlight that part that gives us the sum of all of those, plan A, the average, again, that gives you the average, and then the variance. We're doing it for a sample, so it's a VARS. And again, okay. So once we've copied all that, we can copy them all the way across. That gives us for all 4 plans, okay? This is just for demo purposes. This isn't something that you need to do because you'll see here in a second what our analysis of variance will show us, okay? So we go up to data analysis. I had already been in here, so it came up with ANOVA single factor. If you don't see that, you can go up and down until you see that. It's actually the first selection. Click OK. So the group is going to be by columns. We got columns B through E. So go ahead and highlight all 4 of those. Make sure you don't include anything else if you've put it like I have. Labels that are in the first row. Alpha is 0.05. That's also when it's set in the question at the 95% level, and that's what equates to an alpha of 0.05. Output range, I go ahead and I'm going to put it right here on the same sheet, putting the cell H1 up there. Okay. All right. So it came up pretty quick. This is why I did this for demo purposes over here, because you can see the count is 8. The sum for each one is reflected here. The average for each one is reflected here. And then the variance for each one is reflected there. Okay. And that just gives you a summary of what the single factor analysis of variance was going to do for you. All right. But what we were wanting to do is we're wanting to see what the p-value is going to be. And so the p-value here is a 0.194419. You can go with that, or you can have 2 decimal places, whatever you wish. But that's going to tell you now you want to compare that to our level of significance, which is a 0.05. And so now you can make your decision and go back and answer the questions. Did we accept the null hypothesis or do we reject it? Okay. And from that, are we able to answer this question in the affirmative or in the negative? Okay. All right. That was pretty quick. Not a lot to that compared to some of the other ones we've done. I hope this video helps, and good luck with the assignment.